How long do you think you could survive in an atomic shelter? 60 days? 70 days? Maybe 400 days? Well, that's the question that 60 seconds poses to the player. Let's talk about this weird game that's gone, but never truly forgotten. So, what the heck even is this game? To answer that question, we have to go back in time. Originally released in 2015, 60 Seconds was a game created by Polish game developer Robot Gentleman. It was originally released for Windows, but was eventually ported to iOS, Android, and other consoles. The game was initially a test to see if Unity was the right game engine to use for their upcoming game, and, well, the test was a huge success. In fact, it was so successful that the test game was almost immediately released to the public right after. Since then, the game has been hugely successful, especially among Let's Players on YouTube. And I think that, in part, is due to the uniqueness of the game. Which leads me to the story. The story of this game is relatively straightforward. You play as a typical 1950s American family following the lives of Ted, Dolores, Mary Jane, and Timmy. You know, classic stuff. Unfortunately for them, there's an atom bomb dropping in 60 seconds. That's the whole story. Yup. You might have thought there was more, but the story is really basic. Ironically, it works in its favor because the following story is found in the gameplay. So now let's talk about the gameplay. The game is split into two different phases. The first phase is the scavenge phase. This is the part of the game where, oh no, there's a bomb. Time to grab everything you possibly can and get the heck underground. Because, yeah, that's pretty much what you're doing. Your goal is to grab everything you possibly can inside the house before the bomb blows you up. Unfortunately, the house layouts are kind of random, so you won't know exactly where everything is in the house. You can choose to play as either Ted or Dolores, and depending on who you choose, the other will be found around the house. I choose Ted every time because, well, carrying him takes way more space than Dolores, but I'm pretty sure you could have figured that out. There are lots of items in the house that don't seem to have a good purpose. I mean, sure, having a map, gun, gas mask, and briefcase can be pretty useful, but having a checkerboard? Why? Not only that, but you can also get a pack of playing cards, a harmonica, and bug spray? Why does this family have these things? Weird items aside, everything you pick up will have a use. It might not seem like it at first, but they'll come in handy, trust me. Anyway, after you've grabbed everything you've wanted, you have to wait outside of your shelter for the bomb to go off. And then it's time for the survival phase. This is the part that takes the longest, usually longer than 60 seconds if you play your cards correctly, and is the most involved. Not in the gameplay, necessarily. Instead, the game simulates the bunker lifestyle, where you're the head of the bunker and you have to make all the decisions for everybody else. You have to give rations to everyone, prepare expeditions for the following day, if you want to, and make a decision at the end of the day. It's kind of an interesting idea because most nuclear fallout themed games involve trying to survive in the wasteland. This is certainly a change of pace for the genre. Anyway, as I mentioned 3 seconds ago, there's always a decision at the end of each day. It can be a significant decision, or it could just be deciding whether or not to open a box. The decisions could either give you some items, lose you some items, or make your family insane or sick. Yeah, big range, right? Ideally, you get something out of these decisions, or you fix the problem at hand. Most of the time you'll fail, so you'll have to adapt to whatever the game throws at you. It's not all bad though, because you can try going for some expeditions. You'll have to prepare a day in advance for them to work. You can then choose to send someone out and what items they go with. Depending on what items you send them with and what condition they're in, they'll bring back a lot of stuff. It's pretty random, so finding some good items can be really tricky. Or if you send them out while they're sick or if they're tired, they have a chance to just run away and never come back. Or just die, that too. Even though I've been saying there are a lot of random elements, the actual scenarios that come up aren't random at all. As I'm sure you can see by now, 60 Seconds has a lot of content. Not only is the game fun, but it's also extremely engaging, despite the fact that the gameplay is relatively lackluster. If you decide to buy the game, I'd highly recommend getting the re-atomized version. It's a complete remaster with improved graphics, more scenarios that come up, and a new challenge mode with the scavenge and survival modes. It's the definitive edition of 60 Seconds, and I'd highly recommend it over the original. It's also not even that expensive, especially if you buy the bundle with 60 Seconds re-atomized and 60 parsecs. Anyway, I think that's all I have for you. And if you liked this video, subscribe. Look, I hate saying it as much as you hate hearing it, but I only have like a few subscribers. So if you want to see more of these kinds of videos, do me a solid, please. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side.